Welcome to the show, everybody. Game 6 tonight in South Philadelphia. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Love to have you along for the ride. I woke up smiling today. And the word the buzzword of yesterday's show, if there was a buzzword, if there was a word that I just kept on going back to, it was giddy. All right. And I am still very giddy over that 76ers win. No matter what 2-minute report comes out saying that Tyrese Maxey traveled. Funny thing we learned about that 2-minute report, it doesn't matter. So what? All it does is inspire more sour grapes. So whatever. And it's the NBA. So stop. It's not even close to it's not even the same stratosphere as what happened at the end of game 2 there. So please, okay. But we got the game 6 to talk about. We got Tyrese Maxey to talk about. We got the reaction to Joel Embiid continued to pour out yesterday, including somebody tweeting me about something Shams Charania was saying about Embiid didn't show up again. Huh? Yeah, okay, we'll get to that. And we have a campaign going on by the 76ers ownership and Charles Barkley about fans not selling their tickets. I'm split. I'm really split. I like anybody else, I don't want to hear the Wells Fargo Center taken over by a bunch of Knicks fans again, especially in a critical win or go home, win or your season's over type situation. An actual, wait for it, cliche, but actually applies here. Must win. I don't want to hear Knicks fans celebrating the demise of our season. But on the other hand, like, one of the things I love about today's sports world, a couple of things. One, I love that college athletes can make money. All right, I love that they can make money. I love that's nice. I think that's great. Being that this is America. Second, I love that the fans can make money. I love that the fans can put a wager on a game, make some money, and all that stuff. I love that, and I love in today's world of a secondary market, fans can make more money for themselves. Because when you grow up and you're watching sports, one thing you don't like is the money aspect of it. Strikes, lockouts, players leaving for money, bigger paychecks elsewhere. And, they're gonna chase that money, all right? But all of a sudden, the fans aren't supposed to do that? Look, it might be a morbid way of looking at it because we should all just be about, no, I just don't want to hear Knicks fans cheer when Jalen Brunson knocks down a 3 in the fourth quarter or the Knicks are going on a run. Like, I agree. I hate that, too. That puts a horrible feeling in my stomach. But like, are you going to tell your friend, hey, don't sell your tickets to an unknown person? Like, I don't think Sixers fans are hunting for Knicks fans to sell their tickets to, okay? I want to hear the Wells Fargo Center as loud and as crazy and as pro-Sixers as possible. But it's kind of a hard thing to control. Now, with that said, I do love the idea of Sixers ownership. And you now have to separate it. Sixers ownership and Michael Rubin, okay, former minority owner with the 76ers of Fanatics and all that. They're taking 2,000 tickets, and they're dispersing them amongst first responders in Philadelphia. I love that. That is absolutely fantastic. I think that's a great move by ownership. I have been critical of ownership in the past. I don't want to get into specifics and highlight negative things, so I'm trying to highlight a positive thing. But this is fantastic. This is a great job by the Sixers ownership group and Josh Harris. All right, I got to say, it's wonderful. I don't know if it's their push or if he's doing it on his own accord. But Charles Barkley is now making the media rounds. I thought he was just on 6 ABC. Apparently, he was also on CBS 3. Basically asking Sixers fans to not sell their tickets so that tonight at the Wells Fargo Center for Game 6, the 76ers have the biggest home court advantage you could possibly have in the NBA. And I'm hoping for the same thing. I'm hoping if you do sell your tickets, they go to a Sixers fan at least, right? I love that Josh Harris and the ownership group and Michael Rubin, they're going out there and they're giving the 2,000 tickets away to the first responders. That's wonderful. But I also understand what makes the world go round. And I understand that if push comes to shove for some people, they're going to choose to put some extra money in their pocket as opposed to, well, I don't want somebody else booing the Sixers or cheering on the Knicks. Well, whatever. So I'm a realist in that regard. We'll let you hear from Charles Barkley coming up in a second as we look forward to this game, break it down a little bit further. Phillies won last night. They went 7-3 on this 10-game road trip after going 8-2 on a homestand, a 10-game homestand. So that's pretty great. Zack Wheeler, again, did not have his best stuff, but was able to go out there and gut out a performance through 5 innings, allowing 1 run. So we'll get to that as well. And we got some other things I want to get into around you about your Philadelphia Eagles and how much I'm looking forward to this season coming up. But first, let's start it off with the campaign. This is Charles Barkley making the media rounds yesterday. This is what he had to say to SIXABC about selling your tickets, Sixers fans.
One of the best sports cities in the world. Let me repeat that. Philadelphia, one of the best sports cities in the entire world. Hey, last week was embarrassing. Game 3 and Game 4 were embarrassing. Y'all got to stand up and stand out. Had to send out a text from Dr. J. Had to send out a text from Don State to tell y'all not to sell y'all tickets to those annoying New York Knicks fans. I cannot wait for the game tomorrow. It's time for y'all to rise up. Go Sixers. Make that the best stadium, loud like it's New York loud, like they been. It's time for y'all to rise up tomorrow and support those guys. Those guys went up to New York and busted their tail. Come on, man. Make that place the best home court advantage in the NBA. Go Sixers.
That was some Mark Meany there of SIXABC putting that on social media. All right, so I looked at that and I went, okay. Now, there's a couple of things. One is that I hate that this is becoming more of a story. Like, you know the term highlighting a mistake? This is taking out a big old yellow highlighter and just being like, remember when the Knicks took over South Philly? And just highlighting that and just putting it in big shiny letters in a neon sign. Hey, remember when we didn't show up for our team? Cool. Remember when I had our own stadium taken over by a bunch of Knicks fans who just made the trot down the road, as it was referred to so many times after Game 4? Oh, they just made the trip down the road. They just trotted on down here, and then there they were. I don't like this. I don't want it becoming more of a story. I'd like this to be dead and buried and something we never have to talk about again. But apparently Chuck didn't just go on with SIXABC. Apparently he was making the rounds yesterday. This is him with CBS 3.
Philadelphia. Come on, man. I'm so disappointed in you guys. Can y'all stop those rugrats from New York coming down, taking over the Wells Fargo? Hey, I cannot wait for the game Thursday. But you guys, it was embarrassing last week. Y'all got to rise up. Y'all got Joel Embiid out there playing on one leg. You got my man Maxey balling out. Those kids are trying hard. Do not let those rugrats in New York come and take over the Wells Fargo Center tomorrow night. Get it done.
That was CBS 3. So this makes me feel like, I mean, come on, this has to be Sixers getting on the phone with the little sports departments of each network, being like, hey, get Chuck on real quick. Chuck's got something to say. Chuck's got something to say. Just talk to Chuck real quick. And who's not going to want to talk to Charles Barkley? Charles Barkley is one of the most interesting people on the planet. Everyone wants to talk to Charles Barkley. And you listen to him, and he's really banging the drum for you to not sell your tickets. Here's the breakdown, by the way. I have this breakdown courtesy of the wonderful people at TickPick. Game 6 ticket sales. 34% of ticket sales are coming from people from Pennsylvania. 18% are coming from people from Jersey. 7% in Delaware. All right, so that's nice. So you have about 76% of the tickets being sold in our area, including Maryland and all that stuff. Only 24, put this as you would, only 24% are ticket sales from New York. Now I say only 24%. The Jersey doesn't break it down. New Jersey doesn't break it down whether that's North Jersey or South Jersey, so that's a problem, okay? But here's what we can have a safe bet on. Unfortunately, only, let's see here, 41% are from Pennsylvania and Delaware. Okay. All right. Not great. And even the 24% from New York, even if a quarter of the arena, let's put it that way, even if a quarter of the arena are Knicks fans, that's loud. You're going to hear that come through the TV. And it certainly sounded like it was a lot more than 24% of the arena for Game 4. It certainly sounded like a lot more than that were Knicks fans, unfortunately. So I get the campaign. I get the ticket distribution to first responders. And I get Charles Barkley going on his own campaign to say, hey, don't sell your tickets. But bottom line is the Sixers need to give the fans something to cheer about, and the Sixers need to give the Knicks fans something to shut up about. And that's what it's going to come down to. You can't have the struggles that you had in Game 5. You can't have Joel Embiid disappearing in the fourth quarter. You sure as heck can't have Tyrese Maxey only scoring 5 points in the fourth quarter the way he did in Game 4. It all comes down to, you could do all the ticket campaigns you want. You could do all the ticket giveaways you want. You could do all the honorable things you want with those tickets. It all comes down to how the Sixers are going to play. And for me, other than Tyrese Maxey going off, because before the game, remember I said he's going to have to score like 50 points if the Sixers are going to win because you're not going to get much from Joel Embiid on that front. You ended up getting a lot from Joel Embiid, minus the 9 turnovers in Game 5. But you didn't, unfortunately, get the scoring that you normally get. This is the way that Game 5, fourth quarter, this has to be the way the 76ers play from here on out for however long this playoff run is going to go. If it's just for today, then all right, well, that's that. But this is what they have to settle into. Getting back to Shams Charania apparently laying into Joel Embiid a little bit about how he didn't show up and another performance with 9 turnovers and all that. I consider myself to be always on the side of real. Like I don't give you guys fake takes. I'm not trying to exaggerate anything. To me, it's very simple. And with this, it should be this simple for everybody. You got to be real about what Joel Embiid is going to give you. And I've been hypercritical of Joel Embiid in the past. He's the guy. It's always something with him in the playoffs. That's all fair stuff. That is real stuff. That is tracked stuff. But when it comes to a performance like he had in Game 4, you have to, in Game 5, you have to realize the Sixers playing horribly, and the story of the games being the fourth quarter is really throwing me off in these last couple of games, but I'm sorry. In Game 5, what people really have to let settle in is that they don't win that game if Joel Embiid sits out. Like with the way Kelly Oubre has been playing in the series, do you think he has like a 32-point game in him like he had against the Raptors during the regular season? No, that's not happening against the New York Knicks, okay? Tobias Harris isn't all of a sudden going to go off for 35 points in the game. That's not happening. Paul Reed, Mo Bamba, and Nico Batum, that combination center, is not winning against the New York Knicks. That is not happening. So Joel Embiid doesn't play, they don't win. I would love to see, a guy like, it's so weird that this guy haunts. 2 guys haunt my dreams when it comes to the 76ers. One is the obvious. The other is not so obvious. One is Jimmy Butler. Let's get the obvious out of the way. The other is Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond in that Ben Simmons trade, that sucked because he's the best backup center the Sixers have had since the Joel Embiid era began. That was a time where Joel Embiid went off the court, and you're like, okay, you have Andre Drummond out there. He's still going to get you rebounds. He's still going to get you boards. You're fine. That's all you need. Make sure you get those possessions, and then he's going to play some defense. That's all you need. That's it. That's all you need. You're fine. The best version of the Sixers without Joel Embiid on the court was with Andre Drummond as their backup center. And how sad is it that I long for Andre Drummond or someone to give you those kind of minutes without Joel Embiid on the floor. But the Sixers don't have that guy right now. The Sixers haven't had that guy. As much as I like Paul Reed and the rise he's had and the improvement and all that stuff, in the playoffs, he's not that guy yet. And that's what the Sixers are relying on. So without Joel Embiid, they lose. And with the one leg, and I give Charles Barkley credit for highlighting this, with the one leg, the one good knee, the Bell's palsy, the blurred vision, the migraine earlier in the day, with all that stuff, Joel Embiid still went out there and gave you a triple-double. Now you can say, oh, that's just, if you play, 48 minutes, 49 minutes, you go out and play 49 minutes, you're going to have big totals, right? You're going to acquire some numbers. Well, yeah, but let's talk about the biggest number there, the 48 minutes. That's incredible. On one leg, with Bell's palsy, blurred vision, a migraine, and he still played all those minutes. I'm going to go ahead and applaud that. Because if you're going to use the fact that he played all those minutes to acquire all those stats, then I'm going to say he played all those minutes and also acquired all those turnovers. So if he doesn't play that much, then maybe he's not having that many turnovers. But he's still playing. And he plays as hard as he has. And I look at the performance he had in Game 5, and I applaud it. And this isn't a time to look at Joel Embiid and say, oh, it's always something. And you know what? It is. You're right. But doesn't the fact that he is fighting through it because he knows with him on the court, the Sixers have by far not just the best chance to win, but the only chance to win? This isn't a series for me to go, I told you Joel Embiid's always hurt, or it's not a series for your friends to go, you're an Embiid loyalist no matter what. You're an Embiid pom-pom waiver, whatever. This isn't the series for that. The guy is fighting through all of this. The guy fought through the meniscus tear to come back and play at the end of the season and try to get back in a game shape as much as possible. He tweaked his knee twice. Bell's freaking palsy, people. I know people just call it's just a droopy face. Well, you can get blurred vision. Like, I've heard enough people say this already. I've read enough of the WebMD stuff. Like, it's not exactly a performance enhancing condition. All right. That's nothing. You watch your mouth. So I'm watching Joel Embiid play in this series, and I'm going, this is my guy. And no matter what, he's our guy. I mean, that's the way this is going to go. I don't see him being traded in the offseason. I don't see that. I think the Sixers are going to run it back again. But yes, it always is something. But for me, this is a bigger story. This is a guy really showing you that he's fighting through this. And on the other side of this, while you're going to get this limited capacity, like I saw who was it? It was Austin Rivers was on ESPN yesterday. I saw him talking about it. And he said he expected a big game from Joel Embiid. He expected he might have used the word monster game for Joel Embiid. I don't think so. I am telling you right now, if Joel Embiid drops 35 points, if Joel Embiid drops 45 points, Joel Embiid, I'll set it at 35. If he gets his average in points, I will be shocked. I will be doing this show tomorrow morning, with my jaw on the table. If he goes out there and dominates the scoring aspect of the game, I will be blown away. I will be shocked. I might just stare at the camera with a wide open mouth for an hour, just be in total shock. I don't think that game exists for Joel Embiid for the remainder of the postseason, which is why I don't think that it's going to last long. If they win tonight or they win Game 7, I still see them get bounced out in the second round, unfortunately. Excuse me, but this has to be Tyrese Maxey's show. I used the old tired analogy yesterday of Tyrese Maxey has to be the Batman and Joel Embiid has to be the Robin. That's the way this has to play out. You have to have the good supporting cast, Kelly Oubre getting his points, Tobias Harris getting his points. And I love, and again, hope is the way you got to look at it, because I don't think it's anything that you can really hang your hat on. But when it comes to Tobias Harris, you hope that this is just the start of a nice little run for Toby. Yeah, Toby, go and get me 19 points. Go get me 20 points. Go get me 25 points. Let's get nuts. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And the bench needs to score. Good Lord. Payne needs to be a spark off the bench. Nico Batum needs to hit his shots from the outside. And whoever is stepping on the court needs to, at the center position, Paul Reed, need to have a decent plus-minus at least and get you some rebounds. That's what you need to see in this game. But the star of the show has to be Tyrese Maxey. I heard somebody use the term yesterday. I think it was Tim Bomb Temps about Tyrese Maxey taking that step from star to superstar in Game 5. Keep taking those steps. I mean, I said that Game 6 or Game 5's performance was Tyrese Maxey's biggest achievement, bigger than the All-Star game. We've seen guys get snubbed. Should be all-stars. They're not, But you can't snub a playoff performance. You can only acknowledge the fact that it was great. And that's what Tyrese Maxey gave you in Game 5. And I think Tyrese Maxey has another very similar game, another possible 40-point game in his back pocket tonight. Does that, gets the help from the Sixers bench, the role players. I would love to see, point-wise, you got nothing from Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry didn't even get a bucket for you. He didn't even get a foul shot for you. 0 points in Game 5. So my gut feeling tonight is that the Sixers win. You get another similar performance from Joel Embiid, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. I don't think you see 9 turnovers again, because I think one of the biggest things for Joel Embiid and the turnovers was his teammates being ready for him to pass the football. Like I forget what movie it was, but like people were just so shocked that the guy started passing that they just got hit in the head with something. I'm trying to think of what it was. It might have been semi-pro. I was trying to think about it all day yesterday. I couldn't even. It was like I was doing something else trying to think. It might have been semi-pro. But the guys were like getting hit in the head with basketballs because they didn't know the guy was going to pass. Like, what was that, a pass? That was a pass. So they're kind of looking like at Joel Embiid like that. So is it the blurred vision, the migraine, whatever it is, or is it just guys not being ready for it because they're used to Joel Embiid just making the play on his own? There was at least 2 separate occasions where Tobias Harris looked stunned that Joel Embiid was trying to feed him the rock. So it's other guys stepping up. But my gut feeling on tonight is the Sixers win. Maxey has another great game. Joel Embiid flirts with another triple-double. I'm going to give him 5 turnovers tonight, which is still a lot, but it's less than 9. And another big rebound game, another big assist game. And he gets you, I'm going to say JoJo gets you 25 tonight. But the key element, other than the 2 stars, the key element for tonight is going to be who is the next man up. Who is the guy that, whether it's Tobias Harris with 19, whether it's Kelly Oubre with 15, who's the next guy that all of a sudden, oh my God, Nico Batum, 6 3-pointers? Oh my goodness gracious. Cam Payne, 5 threes? Kyle Lowry, 5 3. Who's the next guy where you hear it in the announcer's voice that they're shocked that this person, every time they hit a bucket, they're like, another one. I feel like the Sixers have to have that third guy, whether that's Cam Payne, Nico Batum, Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre, Tobias Harris. Who's going to be that next guy that's a little bit of a shocker that he's stepping up the way he is in this Game 6 tonight? I am beyond excited to get this game underway at the late time of 9 o'clock. Damn it, NBA. Game 6 tonight, South Philly. If you're going to sell your ticket, here's what I'll say. While the players always chase the money and all that jazz, right? If you're going to sell your tickets, at least try to realize if it's a person that's a Sixer or Knicks fan. Who was it? The other day I heard somebody talking about, you got to check a box to fill it out. Like, put your loyalties. Was it Deuces Rogers? I forget who it was. Somebody said, yeah, check the box. What fan? Who's your allegiance to? Sixers? Sold. New York Knicks? Next. That's the next site. Can you put your tickets up for bidding on an auction? That's the next thing you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So Sixers and Knicks tonight. Game 6, South Philadelphia. 9 o'clock. Hit me with your predictions in the comments. Tell me who you think is going to be that next man up. Not Joel Embiid, not Tyrese Maxey. Who's the next man up for the 76ers tonight? One thing I will say about Tobias Harris, because I'm the guy that keeps on telling you, Tobias Harris, anything you get from him, whatever. I'm not going to fall into it. Like, does Tobias Harris now give you the false hope? Like, I just used the word hope a second ago. Yeah, does he get, he did something good. He did something good, scored for you. He helped get the Sixers started in that first quarter. Now he's done it. So are we going to expect it again? I will not get hurt again. It's like the Joaquin Phoenix meme as Joker, where it's like Tobias Harris will have another great game, and you're putting the clown makeup on in the mirror. Yeah, that's me. I'm ready to get hurt again, people. For your 10-9-8-76s. Hey, the Phillies have been playing some good baseball. Are you aware of this? It's pretty awesome. The Phillies are good. The Minnesota Twins in the American League, they've rattled off like 9 straight wins. That's pretty bonkers. But the Phillies had an interesting game yesterday. They had an interesting homestand, or excuse me, end of this road trip. The phrase of Richie Ashburn comes to mind a lot when Harry Callis would say, an interesting stat or something, and then Whitey would say, "Hard to believe, Harry," or "That's funny." Baseball's a funny game, something like that. And so get this: Phillies played the Angels in a 3-game series. Here's something that doesn't make any sense: the Phillies get 10 free passes, including a hit batsman and 9 walks in one of the games of this series, and they get spotted a run when a run was balked in. The Phillies lost that game. I believe they had 6 hits, so they had a total of like 16 base runners, right? So you get a free run, 10 free passes in total, and 6 hits, and you lose that game, all right? Yesterday, the Phillies struck out 18 times. The Phillies struck out 18 times yesterday, and they won. Hard to believe, Harry. Nick Castellanos, so much for my... he's getting hot. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Hard to believe, Harry. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Hard to believe, Harry. 18 strikeouts for this team. Rob Thomson decided to go with the lineup that, and this is what's so crazy. Okay, not only did he have Kyle Schwarber, what a day to pick Kyle Schwarber to put him in left field for the first time this season. Okay, Kyle Schwarber's in left field. Trea Turner is your designated hitter. Johan Rojas and Brandon Marsh also get the day off against the lefty Sandoval. That's a lot of change for one day. Of all the days to have Kyle Schwarber start in left field, you're going to choose to have Cristian Pache as your center fielder? That doesn't make any sense. That's not making sense. Nope, does not make sense. You don't have Rojas, your regular center fielder. You don't have Brandon Marsh anywhere in the outfield. Trea Turner is your DH? If anything, pick a day to get Trea Turner off his feet when maybe you're at least going to have Johan Rojas in center field, or you're at least going to have Brandon Marsh in center field. I thought we were going to start letting Brandon Marsh have some at-bats against left-handed pitching. No? Okay. Cool. So that didn't make any damn sense to me. And then Phillies won, and I'll get to why I'm happy about why they won, but let me get why I'm pissed off out of the way. Or I shouldn't say pissed off, confused, okay? I'd be pissed off if they lost. But this is where you get into the debate of result versus philosophy. I can't argue the result. The Phillies won. But I can argue the philosophy. In other words, do this a number of times and you will lose more often than you win. Yesterday's the opposite example of that, where you did it and you won. So here's what I'm talking about. Zack Wheeler, yes. First off, the lineup again, Rob Thomson, just weird lineup and weird day to choose to give pretty much everybody the day off, and Kyle Schwarber's first day in left field, but whatever, for the season. So let me get past that and move on to this. 5th inning. Zack Wheeler pitches himself out of some trouble. He's got 106 pitches already under his belt. He's only allowed 1 run. It was the solo home run to Adrianza. Took me a while to really get that name down. Solo home run there. 106 pitches through 5 innings of work. That's a lot. Zack Wheeler didn't have his best stuff, despite the insanely wide strike zone. That was a big strike zone. That was a pitcher strike zone yesterday, but yet both pitchers seemed like they were struggling mightily throughout yesterday's ballgame. So Zack Wheeler, 106 pitches through 5 innings of work. You got the sense he was laboring and he was done. So what does Rob Thomson do? I think he's going to go to Matt Strahm, and he's going to go to Matt Strahm depending on how the first inning goes. He's going to go to Matt Strahm for 2 innings. Matt Strahm goes out there for the 6th inning, 12 pitches. Matt Strahm goes 12 pitches. That's all he needs. 9 of them for strikes, gets 2 strikeouts, and that's it. All right, so I'm like, good. 12 pitches for Matt Strahm. You see Matt Strahm go 30-plus pitches. He was a starter, let's not forget, to begin the season last year. So if you need someone to give you 2 innings in a situation where your starting pitcher only gave you 5 innings, you got a day off tomorrow, meaning today. Yesterday would be the day to give him 2 innings. Rob Thomson doesn't give him 2 innings. Rob Thomson just gives him the 12 pitches, and then gives him the 6th inning, and then in the 7th inning, he goes to Orion Kirkring. So now I'm doing what I did in Game 6, I think it was, with Christopher Sanchez starting for the Phillies in the NLCS last year against the Diamondbacks. He takes Christopher Sanchez out, and immediately in my mind, I go, this is setting it up for Craig Kimbrell to come in. But instead, in this case, I'm going, this is setting it up for a lot of different bullpen arms to possibly blow this one-run game where, offensively speaking, you're getting nothing. So, if you didn't watch the game yesterday, 4:07 start time, Kyle Schwarber gets a 2-run single in the second inning with the bases loaded, 2 outs, full count. So, narrowly, and I think it was Neto who made the misplay behind the bag there at second base, narrowly gets through the infield for a 2-run single. Phillies had an opportunity on a weird play where they tried to score Whit Merrifield from second on a misplay by Ruffino, was it? Ruffino? Yeah, I think it was Ruffino. Bounced off his mitt high into the air. The Phillies tried to get a run from second base to score on an infield single. That ended up not working out. But nonetheless, it's a 2-1 ball game. You're trying to preserve that lead. He doesn't give the extra inning to Matt Strahm. He goes to Orion Kirkring. Then he goes to Jose Alvarado in the 8th. And then he goes to Gregory Soto to close out the game. When I say tinker topper, all right, I want you to think of this game. From now on, this is like if there was a picture of Tinker Topper, right? Like the character I've created, Tinker Topper, okay? If there was a picture of Tinker Topper and then the definition, yesterday's lineup, yesterday's bullpen decisions, yesterday's management would go right under it, but hey, the Phillies won. Okay. So Gregory Soto comes on in relief in the 9th inning to close it out, a 1-run ball game. I don't know if you've been following it, but Gregory Soto has not exactly had the best season, okay? So he comes out yesterday, and somehow, by some divine intervention, the Phillies win that game. He closes it out. He allows 2 base runners. He ended up giving up 2 hits. He got 1 strikeout recorded. But in the last out of the inning, Ward steps up. So he gets Adrianza to ground out to second base. Neto comes up there, hits a single to left field. Shannawell goes up there, gets a single to right field. You got first and third with 1 out. Adele strikes out. That's where he gets his strikeout, gets him on a high fastball. He chases it. And then Ward steps up to the plate. Swinging it a long drive. Deep left field. Kyle Schwarber going back. Schwarber's butt against the wall. Makes the catch. End of the game. You sweated it out there a wee bit, thanks to Tinker Topper, but they got the win. None of it made sense. The result is great. You can't argue the result. The philosophy is bonkers. I don't know how they got, like, you took the longest route possible to get to the destination. The longest, like, hey, there's this nice gravel road where you pitch Matt Strahm two innings instead of, moving everybody up a spot, essentially. And you just go across this nice paved road. Instead, take the hot flames. You see the flaming hot coals over there? Just go over that. That's how we can get to a victory. There's still a W at the end of it, but so what? So you suffer a little bit along the way. Builds character. Makes no sense, but the Phillies won. They again jump out to the lead. Every game this road trip, I believe they had the lead in the first inning. Alec Bohm extended his hitting streak to 15 games in the 3rd inning with a single to center field. He also just missed 2 home runs. Mickey Moniak, both of them died on the warning track in Mickey Moniak's mitt. Schwarber had the single, the 2-run single, and a 3-2. Got a slider outside, and he just whipped the barrel of the bat around and smacked that thing into center field. Phillies had another opportunity to get some runs in that 7th inning. That's the play I was referencing earlier with Whit Merrifield. Whit Merrifield walked on 4 pitches against Garrett to start that 7th inning. Then Soto struck out, looking at a fastball. Pache stepped up. He struck out. Merrifield stole second base in the process. Then Schwarber stepped up there, and that's when he got the infield single. It was off Renifo's mitt. Went high into the air, and then Whit Merrifield came buzzing around third base. They throw into home, and it was a boom play at home. Home plate, Whit Merrifield just called it out. I wanted to see a better angle. Like, I think he was out, but they never went back to it. They went to break, and Crucker went to break. So I kind of figured when they came back, they were going to show you again. They didn't. But I thought that was interesting. But he was out. I think he was out. But I'd like to know he was out. I went back on the DVR and I put it in slow motion. I went, yeah, I think he's out. But it was a close play. Phillies reviewed it rather quickly and decided not to do it. So that's that. I would love to know how they have that set up. Like, who's watching that? And I ask for fan purposes and professional purposes, because I used to run a machine for Sunday Night Football that literally had the instant replay. Like, literally the play just ended and I'm already looking at it, and it's right there. So I wonder how they have that set up. I'm sure they would have something like that, right? Like, there's no way they wouldn't, right? I don't know. Eighth inning, you have Alvarado pitching. He allows a leadoff single, but he's able to shut down the inning. The back-to-back singles, but Renifo ended up getting caught, or Ward ended up getting caught stealing. Great throw by JT Realmuto. And then he allows another single, but he gets out of the inning. Ohapi lines out to left field. That's right. That was the play of Alvarado caught a ball that almost went foul. But Pilar got the infield single. And then Tucker flew out to right field. So they got lucky there. Hey, bottom line, Phillies are off to their best start in forever. 21-11, 10 games over 500. Things are looking pretty good right now for your Philadelphia Phillies. Something I didn't get into yesterday. By the way, off day today, then a 4-game weekend series with the San Francisco Giants. Just so you know my schedule here, because I know I talked about it a little bit earlier in the week. I am going away to Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend to visit our nephew, my wife's nephew, right? I'm going with my 2 brother-in-laws, their wives, lovely ladies, really nice people. My brother-in-law's great guys, party guys. And my wife is coming too. We invited her. And we're going away to visit our nephew, who's a freshman at Tennessee. I've never been to Knoxville, but here's one thing I'm going to do, schedule-wise. I am doing my show tomorrow morning to react to the 76ers game, hopefully them playing a Game 7. Through the weekend, my postcast schedule with Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Make sure you like and subscribe. Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Postcast schedule. I'm not going to be doing any of the Phillies postcasts through the weekend. But if the Sixers do play a Game 7, that Game 7 will be Saturday night. So it'll be Saturday, 7 o'clock at MSG. So I will be doing a postcast for that show from my Airbnb in Knoxville. That's what I'll be doing. So stay tuned for that. I've never been to Knoxville. I've been to Memphis. I've been to Nashville. I actually, the Ryan Howard Get Me to the Plate Boys game against the Rockies in the NLDS in 2009. I watched that from a bar in Nashville, all by my lonesome. And Nashville's the first place I ever went to where I started talking and somebody said, "Where are you from?" And I went, "Huh? I don't have an accent." That whole thing. I don't even have a Philly accent. I got a couple of long syllables. Like, I notice I'll say college instead of like college. You know what I mean? That's a Philly thing. Particularly people from Ambler, like my family from Ambler, they all got that going on for them. My cousin Steve, especially. But anyway, my dad at times. But yeah, anyway, Tennessee's a great time. So that's my schedule for the weekend. I went back and I watched some more of A.J. Brown's press conference. And it got me thinking about this Eagles season. And look, I really can't wait. I'm at a point now where I just, with all these toys, with all these guys locked up, with the 2 new coordinators, I'm at the draft now in the rearview mirror. The Eagles getting A+ grades from Pro Football Focus, from Sports Illustrated, CBSSports.com. Like the Eagles absolutely killed the draft. Somebody from, I think it was ESPN, I saw it on Bleeding Green Nation, talking about how the Eagles just got to steal the draft. When you talk about Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell. It's just, they killed it. They did a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see it come to fruition on the football field. But listening to A.J. Brown and just the things he had to say about his team and why Philadelphia, like the personal aspect of it. He talked about, raising his kids here and all that stuff, and other teammates raising their kids here, and those guys, those kids growing up and being friends and knowing each other and working, the dads working together and staying in this area and all that stuff. Like, that's a great thing on a personal aspect, because it certainly helps the culture within the locker room. It helps the understanding. Like when we talked about it with Joe Santoliquito, when we broke down his story on Jalen Hurts, we talked about, the biggest battles you have in your life a lot of times are with your family members or with your closest friends, because like the love is understood. You could say whatever you want because the love is understood. Everything underneath it is with love. Like, I'm legally obligated to still love you. You know what I mean? Like, family members, close friends like that, the extended family, that's what's there. That's why you can have those knockout, drag out fights. You know what I mean? So A.J. Brown getting pissed off at Jalen Hurts, there's love underneath. And you got to love that aspect of it. But I also get the sense outside of the personal aspect of it, I don't see the Eagles having the gel moment. Like, a lot of times when you talk about adding a big new piece like Saquon Barkley, I feel like the Eagles, or I don't feel like, the Eagles have had this great ramp up to getting a talent of Saquon Barkley. Like, I loved Miles Sanders. He was great, but, he got his carries. Devontae Smith got his touches, got his receptions. A.J. Brown got his receptions. Kenny Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, they got their touches. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they got their touch. Like, everybody, they found a way to spread the ball around where nobody can be upset. You got your 1,000 yards, you got your 1,000 yards, you got your 1,000 yards. Nobody can be upset. Everyone's getting their moment to shine. Everyone's padding their own stats. And I don't mean that padding their stats as like a hollow version of it where they're just putting up garbage time points. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is everybody is getting theirs. Everybody is eating. There's nobody starving out there. So when I look at this offense, and I look at the idea of Saquon Barkley being introduced to it, the cross your fingers of Dallas Goedert staying healthy for a season, right? This offense is going to eat. And 2, 3, 4 weeks into the regular season, I don't think one of the complaints about this offense, even with the new offensive coordinator, I don't think one of the things we're going to be saying is, oh, they just need time. They just got to gel. This offensive line, they just need time to gel. Jalen Hurts with this. You throw Saquon Barkley, that's a big talent. You need to gel. I don't see that period happening. What I am most nervous about right now, when I look at this Eagles season, and there's a lot of time before they kick off, but this is the wheels turning on listening to A.J. Brown and how excited he is to play with these guys and get on the football field, a new coordinator. My concern is defense. It still is the defense. And look, you spent your first 3 draft picks on the defense. That's great. Talk about a ramp-up period. I believe those guys are going to need a little bit of a ramp-up period, especially if Cooper DeJean isn't the guy that's going to be your regular starter day one. But Vic Fangio's scheme is difficult. And ever since my conversation with John McMullen 2 weeks ago about the crucial aspect of communication with Vic Fangio, when guys are switching, when guys are staying on, when you have over-the-top help, when you don't, it's a little bit more convoluted than your average Bear defense, okay? So Vic Fangio coming in here, I like overall. But when you talk about gelling or getting used to a new system, I think this is where it'll be the biggest difference, the defensive side of the football, because you're going to be playing a 3-4. You're not going to be a base 4-3. And Vic Fangio is going to be installing this system. And you're losing Fletcher Cox in the middle, or now on the outside of that defensive line. The linebacker situation has me worried. You could be optimistic about Devin White. You could be optimistic about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But when you look at the rest of this defense, you have corners that are going to be getting used to it. Rookies trying to understand it. Over-the-top help from CJ GJ I'm excited about. Reed Blankenship and all that. But, man, it is a worry in the overall scheme of things. And I mean that literally when you're talking about Vic Fangio. Who's going to be the guy to step up? How are guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis going to respond without Fletcher Cox helping him out as the veteran? What does Brandon Graham have left in the tank in this defense? I know Bryce Huff is a guy that everybody can be amped up for. I have concerns about that. I've told you guys that before. He's had one great year. And I'm still waiting, by the way, for that Hassan Reddick extension to come out. Has that happened yet? Haven't seen it. So there's a lot of concerns right now still with the Eagles as far as the defense goes. Offensively, I feel like that's going to be the star of the show, and I feel like their best defense in the start of the season is going to be a strong offense. And then I see the defense hitting the stride around the middle of the season. But make no mistake about it, everyone that's talking to the media, and it's pretty much everybody over the last couple of weeks, man, they're excited about getting this underway. And you love that. You absolutely love that. And on the same note, I love that the Eagles got ahead of it and had an early OTA. And that's something you haven't seen in a while under Nick Sirianni. And you absolutely, for the obvious reasons, you got to do that when you bring in 2 new coordinators. So, yeah, as excited as I am for the Sixers tonight, as excited as I am for the way the Phillies have started, I still can't wait for football season. I think everyone can't wait for football season. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Thursday morning ahead of Game 6, baby. What's going on here? There. I'm trying to bring up my comments. Talk to the wonderful people of Philadelphia. Here we go. IBH. What's going on, IBH? Nice to see you. How are you? Daniel, good morning. Sean Kilrain. Just imagine if we had stop. Just imagine if we had McCall Bridges to team up with Maxey and Embiid. Oh, wait. We did, but we traded him. Thanks for nothing. That was Brett Brown. That was 30 seconds of Brett Brown. Who I saw somebody recently on Twitter. Who was it? They put out something about every season, the end of the year, we talk about this referendum on the process. I'm guilty of it. I've done it plenty of times too, but like to me, the process is a failure. There's no question about it. Unless if the Sixers have some kind of dynasty starting tonight, then all right, maybe it's not a failure. But still, it's very much a failure right now. And one of the things I always go back to that people forget is how many times you handed the casino chips to different people. Like Sam Hinkie acquired all these chips, and then the league was like, "You give some of those chips to Jerry Colangelo," and Jerry's like, "Give me the chips, man." It's like, "I don't want to get it. Give me the chips." All right, give the chips over there. And then Jerry Colangelo's like, "Hey, Brian, come here with your high collars, and I want to give you the chips." Right? I don't want to go through the whole thing, but you guys know the story. But Brett Brown had the final say over the roster for like 30 seconds, and in those 30 seconds, he managed to put his fingerprints on this. Excuse me. And made a horrible trade. Horrible. McCall Bridges? Really? For Zaire? No, thank you. At the time, no, thank you. Since, absolutely no, thank you. And defense reminds me of Kawhi. Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there that I would have loved to see. April. Good morning, April. Sean Gillespie, what's popping? Chuck Hutton. Barkley's a blowhard. Great lead-in. Great open. Sometimes he makes sense, most times not. Biggest mouth ever for someone who never was a champion. Oh, Chuck went to no championship on Chuck. That's Chuck on Chuck crime, Chuck. James T, what's going on? Go Sixers. Sean Gillespie. Everyone needs to contribute because the Knicks will adjust to Maxey, and they are young and hungry. I concur. One of the things I always love about watching young athletes come up is the idea that the adjustment to the adjustment. So perfect example, and a guy's been on the show a couple times, Dominic Brown. This is the shining example, I think, in sports for us in Philadelphia. Dominic Brown made the adjustment to the major league level. Dominic Brown was an all-star. The MLB then adjusted to him, and he couldn't make the other adjustment. That's where Chase Utley came into the league. On fire, a little bit of a lull, and then figured it out. Like you come up and you're ready to go. And then teams figure out how to pitch you. They make the adjustment. Then you got to adjust to that. That's when the real star is made. Sean Kilroy, did you see Tracy Morgan and Ben Stiller? I saw Tracy Morgan flipping off Tyrese Maxey, and then I saw Ben Stiller just like look all sorts of pissed off. But yeah, I saw Tracy Morgan literally flipping him off. Oh man, Darsey? Did you throw a Darsey in there? That's funny. James C. Put a team around Embiid for God's sake. He's wearing down. Yeah. One of the best things. Oh, I didn't even mention this. One of the best things about that win was the brief moment on the sideline that the camera caught Tyrese Maxey going up to Joel Embiid saying, "I got you." I haven't seen that since Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons got into it. I know that seems like a very distant memory, but after that little scrap at the Wells Fargo Center, if you remember, I think it was Ben Simmons that put his arm around Karl Anthony Towns' neck and like put a chokehold on him on the ground at Wells Fargo Center. And then the cameras caught Ben Simmons going up to Joel Embiid being like, "I got you, man. I got you." And they dab up, you know. I haven't seen anyone do that with Joel Embiid since other than Tyrese Maxey in Game 5. So I love seeing that. Sean Kilroy, in this game tonight, a team effort. Like Shady says, will the real 76ers please stand up? Tobias is the bum. Thank you, James T. Is that a Marine Corps cap right there? Semper Fi. Paul George, $50 million a year. Daryl Morey, no! I hope he looks in the other direction, says Kane. Yeah, it's tempting, though. It's tempting. 7 foot, naturally talented, but naturally injury prone and susceptible to illness. Superman and Clark Kent. Wow. I'm not a big superhero guy, but I do enjoy the analogies. So the Batman and Robin, Superman, Clark Kent. Yeah. James A. Morning, y'all. We need to not let Maxey down. Hell yeah. James T. Preach, brother. Thank you, James T. Tyvita! Hi, Tyvita. Buddy Christ. What's going on, Buddy Christ? Buddy Christ now manifesting another Sixers win. I don't know how are you going to do it this time, Buddy Christ? Let's see. I don't know. I got nothing. Toby is a dope. That's why. Thank you, James T. Sixers. It says R&R. Sixers team is too deep. I wish. Obviously, they have 0 supporting cast. Oh, you mean too deep as in they only have 2 players. Okay. Not too deep, isn't that? They're too deep. No. They're only too deep. Okay. It's the same story every year. Our bench sucks, and we can't defend the 3. Go Sixers. That is such a Philly comment. This sucks, that sucks. Anyway, go Sixers. It's the Larry David meme. Bleep you. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Furcon, what's up, Furcon, James T. Furcon, Corkla. Landry Shamit. Ooh, Tyvita. It's the so-called season ticket holders that sold their tickets, not regular seats. Okay. Twiz, what's popping? Tyvita. And another thing. I don't think it was smart to give those 2,000 tickets to first responders for a 9 o'clock game. Yeah, first responders, man. They need their sleepy. They need sleepy time. Also, first responders, 2,000. We might need them. Late game, Sixers lose. We might need them in the city. Oh, that's hilarious. Tyvita, excellent observation. James C. Toby is done, please. All right. Tyvita, like they're going to come. They most likely have to be at work the next morning. Good point. The silent assassin could really step up the trade. Yeah. Sean Kilrain, Nikki 3 buttons, take a seat. Yeah, you notice there was only 2 yesterday? Maybe it wasn't that hot in Los Angeles, Anaheim Angels, California. Tavita, I think it's kind of Diddy-ish. But no matter how horrible Harris is, he always is in the starting lineup. Makes you wonder what kind of dirt he has in the front office. I think he's just got a huge deal they don't want to put on the bench. It's like why Taijuan Walker is going to get the starts over Spencer Turnbull. Money. It's all about that money. Kyle Wright, it's impressive that you're able to talk by yourself for an hour every day. Well, Kyle, it's easy when you're a narcissist. When you're a narcissist, no. Thank you. I have a good time. People are like, when I've on two separate occasions, I've been at parties where I've been forced to mingle with outside people outside my circle, other people's parties, and one of the common small talk things is, what do you do? And I talk about sports, that's what and they're like, oh, and it's like, so you have to talk, and people think like, you have to do that? How long do you talk? And I was like, well, I was in radio for a while. I did 4 years or 4 hours, and then I do my own podcast now. It's an hour. And they're like, oh, how do you? Something, because people don't do that regularly. And I'm like, oh, you just have to believe that people actually want to hear you for an hour. It's like, oh, yes, narcissist is the word you're looking for. But I don't think I'm a narcissist. Am I a narcissist? I don't think I'm a narcissist. I think I have to have shades of narcissism, right? No? I don't know. Anyway, but thank you, Kyle. I also do some landscaping for myself, for my yard, for free. Why do you think Harris got paid? Exactly. Good morning. Phillies closed it out. Now at home again against San Francisco Giants. There you go, James Alexander. Jason, Harris is a free agent after the season, but trade value unless you sign and trade. No, wait. Harris is done. Harris is done. Let's stop. What are we doing here? Tobias or his father have pictures of eyes wide shut parties. Why have you come here? Anyway, thank you, Sean Gillespie. Yeah, no. Tobias Harris, tonight might be Tobias Harris's last game as a 76er. Okay? Paul Hudrick was the first person for me. I had him on the show. He said, Liberty Ballers, he's probably going back to Detroit. And then since then, everyone else has followed them. Like, oh, he's probably going back to Detroit. Oh, wait. That's why Shot Parties has me laughing. Thank you, Sean Gillespie. Joel Soto does not belong on the Major League roster, period. Gregory Soto. No, I agree. Jeff, what's going on? Lipschitz, what's going on? Clippers lose critical game 5 last night. They got blown out last night against the Mavericks. Harden was awful. Coming up small again in important games. Some things never change. Let's go Sixers. Big game coming for Tobias there. Oh, Jeff is you got a little money? A couple of bucks on old Harris tonight there, Jeff? Samuel Allegari spins another gem for high A. Allegari out of, I believe he's from Verona. Is he the Italian kid from Verona the Phillies have on the roster in high A ball? Allegari. I think he's the kid they got from Verona. Yes, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. My buddy Mikey Donahue, who was on the show, speaking of Marines, the Marine Corps gentleman who was on our show a couple of months back for his benefit. And he actually was texting me about it. Because when you're the token Italian in a friend group, you get texts about Italian athletes. So, yeah, Samuel Allegari. Allegari. He is out of Verona, and he's pitching in the Phillies. He's 22 years old, 6'1", left-handed pitcher. What's he putting up right now? Holy Stromboli. High A ball. He's got a .82 ERA. 2-0 in 4 starts. È molto bene. That's what he's got going on. Last year in Clearwater, 3.86 ERA, 3-1 in 15 starts. Thank you, Sean Kilrain. Appreciate you. Shout him out. I'm going to be at school wedding on Saturday night. I'm sure there'll be a TV at the reception. That's awesome. That's awesome, April. Yeah. You can't, if there's got to be a TV at the bar, right? There's got to be a TV at the bar. My own brother got married during Game 1. I think it was 2010. Game 1 of Phillies Cardinals, I think it was. And yeah, because I think Raul Bond, yeah. And I had to go out and hang out with the valets for a while because they had not even a TV, but a radio. And I had to give the best man speech, knowing the Phillies, they were mashing that game. And there was no TV in sight. And ever since then, yeah. Everyone, my nieces and nephews, their my niece and my nephews, they always have their birthday parties on Sundays in the fall. What the hell? Actually, no, this is my godson, my nephew, Luke. They always have a Sunday in the fall birthday for him. Now I sound like a narcissist. Have that kid's birthday when it's appropriate for me. Anyway, April, have fun at the wedding. Have fun on the little chicken dance, a little electric slide, maybe. Wait. Not school. No idea where that came from. Okay, now school wedding. Okay. You went to WIS. I did not go to WIS. My cousin Steve, all of my Farzetta cousins went to Wissahickon. Maybe 2 didn't. My cousins Carol and Beth. I don't think they went to Wissahickon. I could be wrong. But Steve, John, Lou, Tommy, Kathleen, Kathy, that's right, Laura, they're all Wissahickon kids. My dad, my Uncle John, my Uncle Tommy, my Uncle Lou, they all went to, Ambler High. I don't know if I've told this story before. But my Uncle John kicked a field goal against Springfield when it was Ambler High, I think. I don't know when. I don't want to date. I don't want to make my Uncle John seem older than he is, but he kicked a field goal that was like a 35-yard field goal in high school or something like that, right? That people still talk about to this day. And whenever I'm an Ambler, people are always like, oh, Farzetta, and they'll be like, who's your father? And I'll be like, Joe. And like, oh, little Joey, because he's the youngest of the 4 brothers. And then they'll say, wait, where is John your uncle? I'll be like, yeah, John's my uncle. And they go, oh, he kicked a field goal against Springfield in 1897. No. And they always bring it up. Anyway, one case, there was a Judge Capuccio, who was from Ambler, played high school football on that team with my Uncle John. Anyway, long story short, my brother was in a car accident, other person's fault. We had to go to court. The guy didn't show up. So the Judge Capuccio gets up there and he goes, oh, no witness, no case, no trial, not guilty. Boom. My brother gets not guilty. And we're like, oh, this is great. So we go to walk out and Judge Capuccio goes, hey, Farzetta. He yells at my dad. Hey, Farzetta. And my dad goes, yeah. And he goes, Ambler? And my dad goes, yeah. And we walk up and it's like, approach the bench. So me and my brother and my dad, we all go up to the bench. And my mom too. And he goes, your Uncle John. And I'm like, yeah. Let me tell you a story about your Uncle John. And the judge starts telling me the story of the field goal. He was like the 100th person to tell me the story of my Uncle John kicking this field goal on Ambler for Wissahickon, then Ambler High, I think, to beat Springfield. So, yes, the Farzettas are prevalent in the history of Wissahickon, but I didn't go to Wissahickon. I went to Archbishop Wood. We moved to Doylestown by then. So there you go. Before there was Jake Elliott, there was John Greg Farzetta. There you go. But I did not go to Wissahickon. April, Mark, you definitely have an accent. Sorry to break it to you. Oh, no, I know I have an accent. I know I have an accent. Nothing's funnier to me, especially traveling internationally. And people being like an American, I don't have an accent. You have an accent. Like, do you know how the world? Anyway, Jason, what's going on? It's weird being down 3-2 instead of up 3-2. The pressure isn't on the Sixers. It is weird, right? It is weird. Like the Sixers are usually in the Knicks position. The 2 seed, not supposed to lose to a 7. You know what I mean? Pretty bonkers. Gorby, hi, Farzy from IE. I'm missing that. I don't know. I don't get IE. I apologize. Interesting thought. What's going on, Jeff? If you kept Butler and let Simmons go, you're a much better team, but then you don't get Tyrese Maxey. So I guess, would you rather have Butler and Embiid or Embiid and Maxey? So I thought about this, Jeff, and here's what's interesting. Maxey was a 20th overall pick. So likely no, but COVID just threw a huge curveball into the world, and everyone had to try to hit that curveball. So there's a chance that you now have Embiid, Butler, and Maxey. There's a chance. No, hold on, I got to think about the trade. The pick from OKC was Muscala hitting that shot that flipped Maxey, essentially put Maxey on the Sixers. That was that an Al Horford deal? That was the trade, right? Horford? Because that was one of the things Morey did. Oh, that's going to bother me if I don't check that out right now. Because you got that pick from OKC, if I'm not mistaken, and then that OKC pick converted once Al Horford, or excuse me, once Muscala hit that shot, if I'm not mistaken. I'm on Horford's Basketball Reference right now. Where are the transactions, people? Give me the transactions. The Phillies 76ers, 2025 first round pick to Oklahoma City. Terrence Ferguson, Danny Green. First round pick. 25 first round pick to protected. Traded to Oklahoma City. That's going to bother me. I don't know what to tell you. It's crazy. I'll look it up later. But I think there's a chance that Butler, Maxey, and Embiid are all on the same team because Maxey was such a late first round pick. April, most first responders survive on caffeine anyway. Hopefully they'll still. There you go. Hey, there you go. Cool. Depending on the year, I may know your cousins. Yeah, I won't go into it, but yeah, they're Fultz trade? I think you might be right. Oh, Ireland! Gorby's in Ireland. I love Ireland. Good morning, Gorby. Great to have someone from Ireland on the program. Big fan of Ireland. I've only been to Dublin, but I got a lot of friends that are proud Irish American. I got some friends that are Irish. My buddy Jer lived over there for 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, I think it was. His mom's from Ireland. Lovely lady. Oh, lovely lady. Yeah, they moved over there with his dad. 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, I'm a very proud Irish fan. Love the Irish. Eat with the Italians, party with the Irish. That's what I always say. Is the game really at 9 tonight, Jason? Yes, I would not mess with you. I'm a very serious person when it comes to game times. IBH is saying Fultz trade. I think that means Fultz trade. Because is that where it came from? I think you might be right. So yeah, bottom line, it wasn't the trade because the trade with Butler brought you Josh Richardson, if I remember correctly. Well, that's weird. That's a weird thing to come up. Oh no, God! Now it's bringing up the. Anyway, damn it. Did Oklahoma? I think off the top of my head, but I want to confirm it. The way it played out was the Magic acquired Fultz, sent the Sixers a first-round pick, but that first-round pick was owned by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then when Muscala hit that shot, it put it in contention for the Sixers to get that pick. I think that's the way. Yeah, that's exactly how it went. Thank you, IBH. Sixers traded Fultz to the Magic for Jonathan Simmons, a 2019 second-round pick, Carson Edwards, and a 2020 first-round pick, which turned out to be Tyrese Maxey. That's how. There we go. We figured it out as a team, people. No. IBH. I know what you meant. That Fulk trade. I know. Cool. Hey, thanks everybody in the chat. Oh, we did a long show today. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel, on the Jacob Media YouTube channel, and make sure tonight, after the 76ers battle the New York Knickerbockers in Game 6, I'm saying the Sixers win this game tonight. I'm saying the Sixers win this game 110 to 103. Tyrese Maxey, another 40-point performance. Joel Embiid, 23 points and another triple-double. That's what I'm giving you tonight for Joel Embiid. And 5 turnovers. That's what I got for you tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll be on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel following tonight's game against the Knicks. So make sure you guys click like and subscribe as well on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's where you guys will catch me live after the game. Have a great... Oh, Jeff, you're very kind. I appreciate the details of the Max trade. Love it. It took me long enough. I apologize. Thanks, everyone in the chat. You guys are wonderful. As per usual, my name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Catch you guys tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia for the 76ers postcast right after the Sixers Knicks Game 6. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow morning as well. See you guys.